Hey everybody, Sprocket here again. Just in the process of cleaning some of the grease and grime out of this here lower control arm, and found some interesting wear. So right here, it's going to be hard to see as far as how deep it is, unless we go, maybe you can see it that way, but that's pretty deep wear. That's basically from the steering stop hitting against that a lot. So what I'm ending up having to do is just use a welder, clean it up real good, use a welder to fill it in, then flush it back out again, make that strong. It's not good because that makes a weak spot right there, and I'm not real keen on that. I also found right here where the sway bar inlet goes through, that's supposed to be a round hole. And you can see it's kind of oblonged a little bit. So might do the same thing there, just kind of build that up a little bit and clean it up, make it look good again, make it round. But like I was saying, I'm not going to get these things super clean because that grease, like I said, that keeps it from rusting, so I don't want it stupid clean because I'm not going to paint it. Now, if I was going to paint it, then yes, I would make it nice and clean. But you can see these here lower control arm bushings are pretty much toast as well. Of course, that's the whole reason why we're doing this. So, show you more in a bit. Alright, so this here's the upper control arm. Just got the ball joint out. What I ended up having to do, these here 4 rivets, remember I told you when I was doing the Nova, that if it still has rivets in the upper ball joint, that means they're still factory originals, because that's how they put them in. New ones come with bolts. So I ended up having to drill off, well, chisel and then drill off the bottom side of the rivet where it was squished down. So what I'm going to do now is take my cutting wheel, right there, and we're going to shave these off, and then, oh, excuse me, then I'm going to use my punch over there, and I'm going to knock the rest of them out. Then it gives me access to clean the rest of this up, to get most of that off there, make it nice flat surface to mount the new one to. Alright, so as you can see, got the rivets out of there. So everything's cleaned out for the most part, ready for the new piece. I got a little overzealous with the cutting wheel. It happens sometimes. You just got to be careful. So, show you what these look like. So, this is all you would see from the bottom side here. Okay, so now the original ball joint, I don't know if I showed you guys last night, was pretty thick. So here's the original one. Alright, so it's kind of big and bulky. I'll grab one of the new ones so I can show you. Alright, upper ball joint. Hold on a second. Whoa! Sorry about the fuzz there. Okay, so there's the original. Alright, same orientation. Here's your new one. So, shaft length is the same to where this flange right here mounts down against. It's just this one doesn't have this big bulbous thing on there. I don't know why they did that. Maybe it was for grease, or I don't know. But that's the new one. So as you can see, that's a little more compact. And that'll get put into there. But I'm going to do that after I do the bushings in it. So, anyhow, that's it for tonight. Have a good one. Hey, Sprocket here. As you can see, cleaned this up and I welded up those areas that were rounded out, not rounded out, but ovaled out. So all I need to do here on this one is just make the whole round again and clean it up a little bit, make it smooth. Same thing here, just going to take and run my sander across that, flush it out to make sure that all the angles match up, and then it'll be a nice smooth surface there and strong like it was to begin with. Alright, as you can see, got the hole nice and cleaned up. Now what I did was, I took my bushing here, this is one of the new ones I'm going to be putting in, and checked the outer diameter here against the hole to make sure that that was going to be a good fit. And both sides of this, as you can see, well, this side you can see is cleaned up. And here over here, got it nice and clean. Now it's just a hair thicker than what it was stock because I left a little extra material there because of the fact that that obviously is a wear area. And you can see the other side here, got it cleaned up. And again, I checked to make sure that that rubber bushing was going to fit in there good. And it does. So all I got left to do on that, clean it up a little bit more, shoot a little bit of paint on it to keep it from rusting, and then that part is good to go. Alright, well, as you can see, the areas that I had nice shiny clean metal, I went ahead and threw some paint on, keep it from rusting. These areas that I repaired, threw some paint on there, just to keep that from rusting. A little bit in here, you know, little areas that I got a little zealous and was chipping away at. The original surface rust, oop, I missed a spot. I'll have to get that. Surface area of these I don't worry as much about, you know, because I'm just not worried about it. But as you can see too, got both of those bushings out of there. That's the upper, of course this is the lower. Still have to do the bushings and the ball joint on this one, but that one I've got all that out. Just got to get the paint to dry, and then I can push the new shaft through it with the new bushings, of course after I grease them up. So, there we go. Alright, so, got the new bushings in and the new shaft. Now, I learned something very important today, which kind of bit me in the butt. I installed one of them just like I did on the Nova, and then slid the shaft in with this washer in here before I tried to get the other washer in. What I learned is, once you do that, this washer will not go through this hole. So, if any of you guys are out there doing this, what you got to do, slide the shaft through, put this washer on, slide it out without bushings in, so you can get it far enough this way to slide the other washer onto the shaft, then put the bushings in. Otherwise, you're not getting them in. I got it in there in a slightly unconventional way. And since I don't have a lathe, I basically used a flap disc to make the outer diameter of that washer smaller, which is not exactly good. I mean, it's still just going to do its job, but it's not going to do its job as well as it could. Alright, so, like I said, going to clean this thing up. That's about as clean as I'm going to get it. But like I said, that grease on there keeps it from rusting. So, that'll give me a lot better cooling, because it's not all coated with grease anymore. Now, one thing I'm going to warn you to be careful of, it's hard to see it. Let me see if I can, maybe you can see it right there. Right here, this little bump up, that was my bust where I was hitting it with the hammer to get it to break loose from the ball joint. I got a little bit too carried away with it. And now I'm going to have to grind this down flat again, just to be sure that it's not going to tear up the boot. But, yeah. So there's that. Alright guys, as you can see, got the upper control arm in. Now I don't have these nuts tight, just like on the Nova. We're going to wait until we get the weight of the car on it before I tighten those up. Same thing down here. See that big gaping hole right there where the lower control arm goes? That bolt hole and that one. We wait to tighten those up until we got everything put together, and then we tighten those up. That way it's sitting where it's going to sit. Alright, so lower control arm, new bushings are in, and new ball joint. It's amazing how well things go when you've done it before and know how to do it. But yeah, all that's left is put that up inside there. Remember the big gaping holes? There's one. There's the other one. get that slid up into there, and then the fun part of getting that spring back into place, especially the new one. That's going to have a lot of tension on it. Alright, well, as you can see, it's in place. So, like I said, didn't tighten it down. You can see up in there. Do who? Quiet, you. Of course it's off center. It's supposed to be. Anyway. So, yeah. It's, I don't know, about 11:30 right now, and that's not in the daylight time. So, that's going to be it for tonight. Have a good one.